Welcome, everybody, to Strangest Species, episode roughly 40?
Yeah.
Somewhere in that ballpark?
We don't know anymore. We lost count a long time ago.
Yeah, don't even pay attention. But I'm your host, Mike Davis, here with your lovely co-host, Ethne Davis. How you doing, babe?
Hello?
You doing good?
Yeah, I'm doing great.
Awesome.
Yeah. Do we look at the camera?
No.
No.
Well, you can. You can do whatever you want.
Okay.
So, big news. We are filming this episode.
Yep, we are.
And it will go up on the YouTubes.
Yep.
For all to see.
And for the regular listeners, my surgery eye is the one that you can see the most of. And we contemplated switching sides, but this has been our jam since the beginning. So we decided to just go with it. So
I'd have to operate my computer with my left hand.
Everything just works better this way. So I'm just prefacing that you guys all get to see my surgery, and it's actually not looking too bad on camera.
You look great.
Well, it's like the first time in a long time that it's looked decent. So
I think all those extra drops are helping.
They are. Yeah. But I had to take more steroids, which pros and cons.
You're going to get a buffalo hump.
Thank you.
Just kidding. No, you won't. Moon face buffalo hump. That's all I remember about steroids.
Yeah, too many steroids.
From dental school. Like no
it's
matter
like
what
pharmacology or something.
No matter what, all you were looking for was steroids.
Moon face buffalo hump.
Those are the two contraindications, not contraindications, but negative side effects for long term. Yep.
There's a lot of other ones actually.
But moon face buffalo hump. Those were the two answers on every test. That's what you needed to know.
Perfect. Well,
I don't prescribe a lot of steroids, so
yeah,
I don't worry about it.
Yeah, that makes sense. So hopefully I don't have to keep those up though forever.
No, I don't think you'll have to.
So anyway,
how's life?
I mean, it's good. I've done something wild this past week, and I've gone snowboarding 3 times in 1 week. But I went from before that doing absolutely nothing for a month because I had like a hurting, painful eye. And not that my eye is not like normal, but it's much better. We just have this pass and we wanted to utilize it. And when you take kids, you're not really, doing anything, doing much.
We spent the last 7 years on the bunny hill,
essentially. Yeah.
One of us at least.
So I figured, I could go and tough it out, and it's been beautiful weather. And I could ride with them. And so, spending all the time focusing on them and not really riding. But then we did something amazing, and we went on a date and we rode, just the two of us.
And it was epically beautiful.
It was the perfect
There wasn't a cloud
day
in the sky.
Yeah.
It was fairly warm.
As bluebird day as you could get.
They had gotten snow in the few days before.
The conditions were great. They'd gotten a ton of snow.
Like kind of end of the weekend, early midweek. So no one had really been up there yet. There was no one on the mountain.
No, we went on a Friday. So it was so therapeutic for me. I really needed to get out. It has been hard on my eye. But I mean, that's about the most adventurous week I've had in, a long time.
And you kicked my butt on the hill. I mean, you always do.
Well, I mean, I'm Canadian. So it's like something I've just...
Totally.
Yeah, done for a long time. And I felt very rusty, like, for me. So...
I felt pretty good.
Yeah, my brother would have been, like, that's as fast as you can go.
I felt like I kept up with you pretty well.
But anyway...
So it was good. We also did one of your favorite things of all time last night.
We went to a movie?
Yes, but what kind of movie?
A scary movie?
Well, it was billed as a scary movie.
This is my least favorite thing of all time, actually.
Yes, I hate scary movies.
I do.
We were going to go out for dinner and movie with some friends. I really wanted to go see Dune Part 2.
But they hadn't seen Dune Part 1.
Right. So. And which makes sense that you wouldn't want to see such a not intense, but a very, a lot of moving parts kind of movie without knowing what was going on.
For sure.
And so we went and saw Imaginary.
Yeah. It was ridiculous many times. But there were like a couple of scenes, and then there's also just, you never know. That's the part. I'm like, this is kind of exhausting because I'm just deep breathing like, it's going to be fine.
Well, we had the nice recliner seats.
Oh, yeah. The seats were super comfy. I brought my son's little stuffed blanket. So it was like a down blanket and I just pulled that thing open and we just snuggled in the middle. I felt very safe.
I didn't snuggle.
No.
And the other girls snuggled.
Yeah. We snuggled and it was great. The movie was not...
I didn't think it was very good.
Not great. There was one legit terrifying scene and the little girl was really creepy, but some of it was really bad. Like really cheesy.
I mean, it was entertaining enough to watch.
Sure.
I will never watch it again. But
No.
yeah, it was all right.
But we did it. We conquered.
So for those watching or listening, we say this a lot, but I'm going to, just set the record straight today. Do you know anything about what we're going to talk about?
Nothing.
Do you ever know what we're going to talk about on these shows?
Not one thing.
I've done a pretty good job keeping you in the dark.
Yeah, there's no hint. There's no oops, I said this. There's nothing. I literally have no clue every single time.
Yeah, I had to finish the script the other night in bed, and I had my headphones on, and then I was watching this video on the topic, and all of a sudden YouTube stopped working on just my phone or on my computer. Everything else on my computer was working, but YouTube just would think and think and think. So then I had to turn my phone on, but then I had it super low, so she couldn't hear. And then she turned on some music, and then I couldn't hear my phone.
And then I just went to bed.
Yeah.
But
so
that's the first as close contact we've been where you've been working on this script.
Well, then I'm going to finish them at work.
Yeah.
Long before the weekend rolls around.
It's just a busy week this week. So.
It was. So we are going to talk today about a cool story. I think you'll like it. So we're going to talk about a guy by the name of Alexander Selkirk.
Okay.
Now, Mr. Alex was born in Scotland in 1676.
It's a long time ago.
I like him because his last name is Selkirk.
Which is like a brand name.
It might be. But we live just outside of the Selkirk Mountains.
Oh, well, that's true.
So when I go backpacking and stuff, it's oftentimes in the Selkirks, which are beautiful.
Yeah.
So he was born, as most people are,
Yes. I'm waiting. I was like, born.
But he was a little bit of a loose cannon as a kid.
Okay.
Got himself in trouble a lot. Couldn't really sit still. One of those kids.
I don't know anything about that.
No, we've never had a child like that.
Never. Theirs are so chill and calm. Yeah.
Yeah. So he was the seventh son in his family.
That's a lot.
And in Scotland, there's a tradition that the seventh child is lucky.
Ooh.
So his mom kind of always doted on him a little bit. Like, he's our little special Alex.
So was he the youngest too?
I don't believe so.
So there were more after him. I was like, double whammy. He's the seventh and he's the youngest. He's like super spoiled.
But. So his father was a tanner.
Oof, we talked about tanner.
Yeah. So, which probably means his father smelled bad.
Yeah. I'm sure the whole house smelled bad.
But they actually were quite wealthy. Which I don't think is how we made it sound when we talked about them. Tanners, we talked about lived on the outskirts of town, and they were kind of, maybe they made good money.
We didn't ever talk about their financial, I don't think they're what they bring in. We just talked about the jobs in general and what they look like. I don't think any of them we really talked about the wealth factor.
Yeah. I can't recall.
I mean, sometimes you said it was a pretty coveted job, or because of this, you maybe made a little more money or something, but you never ever talk specifics about any of that. At least not that I remember.
Right. Well, I don't remember either.
So,
but they did have a lot of money.
Okay.
And like I said, he was very intelligent, but he always got in trouble at school.
Okay. Just busy.
I think he had ADHD.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like he's just busy.
Yeah. But he was really, really good at math.
Okay.
And this ended up suiting him later in life. So he had a strong desire to go to the sea.
Like Moana?
Yes.
Oh.
He was like a Moana.
Like a baby Moana?
He wanted to go past the reef.
Okay, perfect.
And explore. Be a voyager.
Seems random a little bit, but...
Well, they lived in Scotland.
I mean, yeah.
So
it's a tiny place with the ocean all around you. I get that. So, okay.
His father had about zero interest in him leaving.
Going to the
ocean. And wanted him to join his brothers and becoming a tanner. And taking over.
The family business.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He even threatened Alex to take him out of the will if he ever left.
Wow. That's harsh. It's legit.
But Alex did what any teenager would do in that situation.
He went anyway.
He left, yeah.
He left anyway.
And he ran to the ocean.
Perfect.
But because he was kind of a butthead, he didn't join the Navy.
Okay.
He literally became a pirate.
Oh. Okay.
And he literally became a pirate of the Caribbean. Or Caribbean, depending on how
Did he change his name to Jack Sparrow?
I don't think so. I think he stayed Alex.
Okay.
Alexander Selkirk.
Okay. All right. Well, that's too bad.
And so for the next 3 years, he was a pirate in the Caribbean.
So if one deems themselves a pirate, they literally just go around stealing stuff from others?
I believe it's rape, pillage, burn. Those are the three categories that you try to excel in.
Could we just do pillage? Could you be just a pillage pirate?
Maybe.
Because, I mean, why do you got to
Probably.
burn?
It's like a package deal.
I
Rape,
don't-
pillage, burn.
Yeah,
Just goes together.
I don't like that package.
Well, he didn't really like it either.
Oh, okay. Well, then he's not a
So-
very good pirate.
No, he became an excellent navigator, though. An amazing navigator.
That's cool.
Because he was so good at math.
Kind of figuring out the
But he didn't really
stars.
like the pirate life.
That's a good thing. I
And
mean,
it's a very dangerous life, being a pirate.
why? Like, because
Well-
people are always after you?
Well, yeah. I mean,
Or-
anytime you're making money, you are attacking somebody.
Oh, so you might die in
And
the attack. I see.
all of the governments are trying to capture and kill you.
Yeah, I get it. That makes sense.
Yeah, you have no real friends as a pirate.
I mean, except for your crew.
But even
They got your
then,
back. It's like
they
a
all
game.
have like scurvy and
Oh, gross. Yeah.
STDs. and
Stop.
it's not a good place.
Okay.
So he did that for
Gross.
3 years.
Okay.
But then he had enough pirating.
Okay.
And so he was growing up a little bit.
Okay.
So he wanted a better job, but still in the same, vein.
Like navigating and stuff.
So he
still.
became a privateer, which is a
don't know
legal
what that-
pirate. So it's essentially a pirate for the British government.
Oh. Is this the same package deal?
Nope. I think you can strip away a lot of the raping and pillaging
Okay.
and burning,
Okay. So
and
what?
you're really just pirating other pirates.
Oh, I get it. You're
But the crown is paying you to.
You're like finding the other
You're
pirates.
the legal pirate.
So you left the gang
Mhm.
or the mafia group, and then you're now.
You're like an informant for the
yeah,
FBI.
you're like, whoa, this is.
but
This is
in the field,
this is legit. Okay,
Yeah,
turn your
So-
back on your brothers.
because who would want? He didn't want to join the Navy because he didn't want the structure of the Navy.
Yeah, that
But
makes
he's like
sense.
privateering. I mean, still gives me some freedom,
kinda
but it's a
cool.
little less dangerous.
Right. That's true.
So he
Oh.
joins a man by the name of Captain William.
Oh, William Turner.
I don't think so. I think he's a real life person.
Well, maybe William Turner is a real life person.
Is that the son of Bootstrap Bill Turner?
Yeah, of course.
I'm not sure.
AKA Orlando Bloom.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But he's
never
also
mind.
an elf.
It's true.
And I don't know if that's real.
Legolas?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not real.
So
Okay.
at this time, the British and Spanish were at war.
Okay. British and Spanish.
He was a British privateer.
Yep.
So they had the green light to attack and or bother any Spanish ship they wanted.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And when you say attack, are they allowed to burn and kill?
Yep.
Okay.
And take all the Spanish stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So he is under this man by the name of Captain Williams. Now, Captain Williams, this is going to get a little complicated
Okay.
for just a second.
I'll try to follow.
It's important to follow, so we'll take it slow. And we'll circle back as many times as needed. But
Okay.
you're smart. You'll figure it out.
I mean, hopefully everyone else listening figures
So
it out
Captain
too.
Williams
Yep.
was the captain of the St. George.
Okay.
That was his ship. But he had another ship under his command
Okay.
that was called the Cinque Ports, it was spelled Cinque ports. But it's pronounced Cinque, which is a really stupid name for a ship, if you
Yeah.
ask me. But I'm
What does the other spelling come from? What does it mean?
I don't
Something
know.
different? Oh, I've never heard of that
Yeah.
spelling for anything. Okay.
So Captain Williams captained
Two
the
ships.
St. George, and then you had the Cinque Port that was under his command.
Okay.
But that was captained by somebody else who I don't know his name because right now in his story he dies of scurvy.
Okay.
And so he's not important.
Okay.
So the next up in line was a man by the name of Thomas Stradling.
Okay.
He became captain of the Cinque Ports.
He became captain, but the guy is still commanding.
Correct.
So there's a commander and a captain.
Right. So Captain Williams with one boat, Captain Thomas with the other boat, but Captain Williams is in charge of
Both.
both boats.
Got it.
Alex, our guy, is the navigator for Captain Thomas
the
for the
Cinque
second
Ports.
boat. Yep, for the Cinque Ports.
Yep. This is easy.
Yeah, you
I'm
got
following.
it.
Okay.
Now, the crew of the Cinque Ports
Okay.
love dead Captain Guy, the one who died of scurvy.
Oh, the one I was like, what? Okay, the one who died of scurvy. They loved him.
Did not like Captain Thomas.
Oh, okay.
He was kind of a jerk.
Okay.
And Alex and Captain Thomas really didn't get along.
Ooh, that's no good.
But when you live on a boat in the middle of the ocean, you only got so many options.
That's true.
And so that's where he was at this time. Now, over the next year, the crew really had a hard time. At one point, they attacked a French ship, but they failed to capture and or sink it. And they were able to go back and report, hey, there's these 2 British privateering ships out there. So now there's a bunch of other people looking for them, too.
So, but I thought they were only supposed to be doing Spanish ships. Why would they attack a French ship?
You know, I'm not really sure.
Okay.
Just sounds like a good thing to do.
Doesn't sound like a very good thing to do if you don't really have permission to do it. Just sounds like you're going to create maybe more problem. But
it did create a lot of problems for them. Well, because now they were being hunted by
other pirates.
Other countries and pirates and everything. Yeah.
Interesting.
Correct. So, in 1704, the ships carried out a mission to attack a gold mining Spanish town in Panama.
Okay.
So they went up a river.
So
they were going to attack this gold town, this mine town.
Why? The privateers were?
Yep.
But I feel like
it's a Spanish mine.
Sure, but they were supposed to. I mean, mining is not a crime. They're not pirates, right?
No, they're just trying to steal gold.
But it's a privateer. That's not legal. Oh, because they're at war.
Yeah.
So they can, even if it, they're not looking for pirates anymore.
No.
They're not looking for Spanish pirates. They're looking for literally
Spanish.
anything Spanish because
Correct.
they're at war. Okay, for some reason, that didn't register till right now. I mean, I knew you said that, but okay.
So they're out there trying to
get anything.
Kill any Spanish
anything.
people on this side of the world.
So they were going to go up a river?
Attack this. Kind of like, the ride Pirates of the Caribbean?
I do.
How they attack the...
Yes, I get it.
The fort from the sea. Kind of like that.
Yes.
At least that's what I'm envisioning.
Yeah. Okay.
So they go, they attack. It goes terribly wrong. Captain Williams, who's in charge of both ships, calls for them to retreat.
So both ships went upriver together. Okay.
Captain Thomas has no interest in retreating whatsoever. He wants to fight.
Yeah, but if you call to retreat, there's probably a good reason.
Kind of. I mean, maybe there's good reason.
Okay. But aren't you just supposed to listen whether you agree or not?
Right. So it's kind of a big hubbubaloo. Lots of guys die. And they finally do get out of there.
Okay.
But Captain Thomas and Captain William have a huge, blow up. Captain Thomas is like, you're an idiot. You can't. You're a terrible captain. You can't man any of this stuff. You don't know what you're doing. You're costing men lives. And so they decide to go their separate ways. Captain Thomas says, I'm taking my boat and we are leaving. I'm not sailing under you anymore.
Oh, I was kind of thinking
I don't know what the legality of that is.
Captain Williams would just fire that captain and promote somebody else, but nope. He just takes the ship and goes.
Yeah.
I feel like that's sort of not okay.
I think Captain William was kind of weak.
Oh, kind of a nice guy.
So this left Alex in a really tough spot because Captain William really liked him.
Yeah.
And so he could go with Captain William.
Right.
And be his navigator, or at least on that ship. But he was kind of terrible and he had cost a lot of men their lives and he kept doing stupid things over and over again. Or he could go with Captain Thomas, who he really didn't like, who he didn't get along with, but was legitimately good at his job.
That's a tricky one.
And so, what would you do if you were Alex?
If I was Alex? Oh, gosh. I think maybe I would just, goodness. I mean, what I was thinking wouldn't work because they're in the middle of nowhere, probably. I was thinking find a new ship is kind of what I was thinking. Neither one of them, but that's probably not an option.
Not an option.
In this situation, I'd probably stay with the guy who's good at his job, even though you don't like him. I don't know.
That's what he did.
Yeah, that's probably what I would do, I think.
So he decides to go with Captain Thomas.
Okay.
He waves goodbye to Captain William. And they go their separate ways. Now, I don't know if it's right after this. At some point in the near future, their ship, the Cinque Ports, needs repairs.
Okay.
And so they stop at this small island called Masa Tierra.
Masa Tierra.
It's about 400 miles.
Cornland?
Cornland.
Masa? Isn't masa corn?
Oh, masa is corn, but no, mas, like more.
Oh.
Tierra, like land.
Oh.
3 words. But that was good. Cornland. I was like, what are you talking about?
I was like,
Cornland.
I was translating the Spanish.
Yes.
Okay, but it's different. Mas.
But if you can see it spelled, yeah.
Tierra.
Masa
Okay.
tierra. Now, this is about 400 miles west of South America, out in the Pacific.
Okay, you're out there.
And it is extremely isolated.
Okay. Why would you pick there to stop, I wonder? Is
So
like the
it's-
only place they could find?
It's fairly large
Oh,
of an
okay.
island.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of timber.
Oh, that's probably
Very
a
forested.
good reason
It has wildlife.
to eat and
Right. So it's a
hunt,
good place to stop, hang out for a week or two,
fix
your
some
ship.
things. Okay.
It also was about the only island not populated by Polynesians. And so they knew that they could.
Even if it was populated by Polynesians, would they still let you stop there, or it was just a time in life where you don't really?
I think everyone thought all Polynesians were cannibals.
Oh,
I don't think that's true, obviously, but I don't think they like to go to the Polynesian islands.
huh. I mean, I've never heard that, but I don't know.
So this was a spot that was unpopulated, lots of wood, super remote.
Okay.
I mean, like, that's why it wasn't populated, because it was so in the middle of
remote.
nowhere. And there's no other little islands around it. Like, it's just,
As long as there's fresh water, it sounds like heaven, really.
yeah, West Virginia. Sorry, you said heaven. Sounds like heaven. And I started, John Denver came in my head.
Oh,
So I was just going with it.
Okay. Sounds
Probably doesn't
good.
look anything like West Virginia.
Probably
Probably more
not.
like Hawaii.
Probably so.
Those two are not similar. I've never been to West Virginia, so I can't say that for a fact, but I'm pretty sure it doesn't look like Hawaii.
I think that.
That's not true. I have been to West Virginia. What am I talking
I think
about?
I've just been to Virginia.
I've been to West Virginia. I'm a liar.
Oh, yeah, for ASDA stuff.
I drove through it.
Oh, you drove through it.
Yeah.
I flew right into Virginia.
So they go there. They park the ship. Now, Captain Thomas just wants to be there minimal amount of time. He wants to get there, do some bare bone repairs, get back out, make some money.
Okay. And you make money at this point.
By
because
finding other ships.
But
to-
aren't they being paid by the crown anyway? Or
Yeah,
like.
they are, but I think they're...
So they get to keep whatever they take?
I don't know how
Okay,
the
I was
setup,
just
but
trying to
obviously some
understand.
kind of commission.
Okay, perfect.
The more they mess with the French or Spanish, the more money they
get.
make.
Okay.
So he wants to get back out on the open water and get back to work. And he's probably feeling good. Like, this is the first time he's captained the ship. He gets to make the calls.
Yeah,
he's
doesn't
ready
have
to
William Sky over
Right.
his head.
But Alex is like, whoa there, Cap. Like, we need serious repairs. Like, we need to take a month or two. We need to stay here.
Probably needed repairs from the battle that they had up the river. Is that what you're assuming?
Right. I don't know
Okay.
if it's just that.
Or other stuff that just happens.
Right.
Okay.
And so, again, they get super into it.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, they're fighting, they're battling. Not battling, but going back and forth about whether they need to leave or not. And so Alex decides he's going to put his foot down, and he packs up a trunk full of gear, and he has his men row him to this island. And he gets off and he shakes their hands and he says, I'm going to stay here until Captain Thomas comes to his senses, because I'm the best navigator. You can't leave without me. And I'm not leaving until he agrees to fix the boat properly.
All right.
Now you have to remember, him and Thomas aren't exactly best friends.
Right. I think Thomas is just going to leave him there.
Thomas totally just leaves him
Yeah.
there.
I get this first scene.
Says, fine, peace. You want to stay there? Stay there.
He literally just leaves
And
him.
he just leaves him.
Well, Alex got a little cocky. He's like, you can't go without me. He's like, well, I guess that guy doesn't care that he can't go without him.
Yeah. And so they literally leave him.
Well, that's an adventure of a lifetime.
Yeah. Captain Thomas tells the rest of the men, that right there, that's what mutiny looks like. So if any of you guys want to try that, you can get on the next island. And they
Dang.
take off.
He is rough and tough and
And
don't
Alex
take no crap.
all of a sudden is stranded on this island with a trunk full of stuff by himself.
Well, at least he has a trunk full of stuff.
Yeah. So let's
I
talk
kind of
about
want to
that
be this
stuff.
guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, if I knew that there was a time frame, like, you just draw me off with the trunk of stuff and some weapons or something. I don't even know.
So this is what he brought with him.
Yeah.
And luckily, I mean, maybe he thought he was going to be there for a day or two. I don't know, because he brought some legit things.
Okay.
He brought a few pairs of clothes.
Okay.
he brought some bedding. He brought an axe, a rifle, a kettle, his Bible, and a textbook on navigation.
Cool, man.
So you do a little bit of light reading, you know.
If that's considered light reading.
Yeah, well,
I mean, I guess I don't know. Right? Okay.
But that's what he's got to set up his one-man civilization in the middle of nowhere.
He's going to carve Wilson. He's going to make a Wilson.
Well, yeah.
I know it.
One would think. So, at first he can't believe this.
He's like, the ship's going to turn around and come back and get me.
So for a few days, he doesn't even unload anything. He just sits on his trunk on the beach, just staring off into the ocean. Like, anytime I'm going to see the ship come back.
That's a long time to sit and stare. I don't
Yeah.
think I'd have that. I'd be like, after, one night, I'd be like, oh, I think I'm stuck.
But no boat comes back for him.
Well, yeah.
And so he does kind of start going into some isolation madness.
That quickly?
Well, over the next couple months.
Okay.
Of just being there. He doesn't build himself a hut. He doesn't anything. He's just kind of going insane.
Oh, why doesn't he
He's like Tom Hanks from Castaway.
But I mean, Tom Hanks tries to do the things to survive. Makes a shelter and keeps himself busy with,
But
whatever.
Alex didn't have Wilson, the volleyball.
Well, they probably didn't have volleyballs even made,
I don't know if anyone can hear you.
It's like 1600s.
Yeah, there were no volleyballs, but he had no fake friend with a face on it to talk to.
You
like
could put
Tom
a face
Hanks.
on your axe or, just make a different friend.
And how are you going to put a face on your axe?
Charcoal or something? I don't know.
Maybe.
From a fire? I don't know.
I don't remember. How did the face get on Castaway? Was it blood or was it already there?
I haven't seen it in
I feel
so
like
long.
it's a handprint. I know now they sell volleyballs with Wilson on them.
Do they? I don't know. I need to watch it again. It's been so long.
I think I've only ever seen it once. That was a long, long time ago. So, so after a few months, he starts thinking back to Scotland and his time growing up and going to church. And even though he caused a lot of problems at church, and he really wasn't a good little boy at church, he realized he kind of has these nostalgic feelings like, I actually really enjoyed my time at church.
And he has his Bible.
And so this kind of slowly begins a change in his mindset. And he starts thinking about now how at least God put him on an island that has everything he needs to survive.
Yeah.
Versus just a rock somewhere. And when he changes his outlook, all of a sudden things get better.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not better, but he's like, oh,
well,
okay,
his
I can do
mindset
this.
is better,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Now, totally side note, I find this really amazing how changing one's mental perspective can, completely change the outcome of your life.
Well, it's a paradigm shift.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huge
impact.
Yeah. It really is. Oftentimes, if you can visualize it, you can make it happen.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's where he is. Now he's been here for 9 months.
Oh, wow. We're jumping.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this island actually does get, it gets pretty cold.
Oh, really?
Yeah. In the wintertime. It has legit winter and summer.
Oh,
and it will get down to about 48 degrees Fahrenheit or 9 degrees Celsius. So not like cold, but when you're
still,
like when I lived in Belize, like if it dropped to like 60, you're like, oh my goodness, it is freezing cold.
Because of the humidity or why?
Well, you're just so used to hot.
Oh, like being hot. I see what you're saying.
The slightest coolness with the wind coming off the ocean and the rain.
Well, you would climatize to that too, right? So,
but they legit get frost there.
You can get frost with 9 degrees Celsius?
Well, at night and stuff, it would get cold
Interesting.
enough.
Okay.
Hey, this is what the internet tells me, so I believe it.
I don't know anything about this part of the world, so.
But for this whole time, he's pretty much just been hanging out on the beach, eating shellfish, eating fish that wash up on shore. Mm-hmm. He's not actively doing anything to make his life better,
or like hunting or anything
right. And so he, and again, I find this in my life very true. This is one of the reasons why we have this podcast. Because I find if I can have something that I am striving towards, I have some goal, some mission I'm trying to accomplish, then it really fights off like depression and it fights off bad thoughts.
Okay.
Like if you're working towards something.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is the main issue in our society. We just sit around and we just let life happen. We watch TV, we blah, blah, we're just blobs.
I mean, I'm definitely not this
No,
person.
you're not.
Not even remotely, but
He
definitely
decides, you know what? I need to start doing something else here.
I'm shocked that after 9 months he got this revelation. I don't know why, but I'm like 2 days, and I would be like, I'd have a full on, kitchen, and I don't even know.
Yeah. Well, you're better than most of us, Ethne.
No, I'm not saying that. It's shocking. 9 months is a long time.
So something else also pushed him towards leaving the beach, and that is that Masa Tierra's beaches become a massive mating playground for giant seals. And so he was like, I cannot be on this beach because these things are big and busy, and I'm in the way.
Gross. But they're kind of cute, I guess, from afar.
Yeah. So he kind of drove him inland.
Okay.
So for the first time, he decides to legitimately build a house. Now, maybe he did have some kind of little structure on the beach that he slept under or something.
I sure hope so.
But he decides to actually build it, like chop down trees.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah. So he builds himself a house.
I bet it's cute.
He makes a bed he takes grasses and he dries them.
Yeah.
And he makes like a big straw bed.
I'm assuming there's like palm leaves and a bunch of great
He's got
stuff
lots,
for
it
like
actually has
thatching a roof. And
lots of, a large variety of vegetation on this island.
Oh, I would love this. I'd have
And
a garden.
So he takes his bedding and he puts it around his new straw bed and he makes himself a bed. And so now he's got himself a warm place. Mm-hmm. He's got a nice little setup. He's got a nice bed.
Okay.
But this brought a new problem. And that is at night he would be bitten nonstop by rats.
Rats?
Yeah. The island has lots of rats.
I don't understand why rats.
Well, explain.
Well, why would they want to bite him?
Well, they just come up and they nibble him. I don't know. I'm not a rat. I'm not sure what rat
It just seems
psychology is.
Do they think he's food?
Maybe they're trying to see if he's food. Like, nope, that's a smelly man. And then they run away.
Is this the phenomenon that I thought you were going to say? Like, maybe I could see, like some kind of bug living on the leaves of the, whatever that he dried.
Lots of mosquitoes.
Or just like something in his bed that was little, like a little bug or something. But a rat seems random to me.
Well, that's what it was.
I don't like that.
Well, he didn't like it either.
Yeah. But so obviously on the beach, they don't really go to the beach. They just live inland. Is that because
that makes sense? I guess they're more in the forest. I don't feel like rats are big beachgoers.
It almost seems weird that there are rats on this island at all.
Well, the rats 100% come from ships that have docked there.
100%. Yeah.
Because I learned this in researching this. Those ships were crazy infested with rats.
Oh, sick.
Yeah.
I don't even want to know that. But I mean.
So what do you do to get rid of the rats?
Well,
now he's got this nice bed and he can't sleep because the freaking rats are biting him all the time.
Well, so this is what's strange is once the rats get on there, they're going to reproduce, but the water is going to keep them all under there. I mean, they're going to take over that island.
Like we talked about last week.
Yeah. So what do you do? I don't even know. I mean, you have a lot of water around you. Like drowned them? How do you do that? I don't know. You can't really. I mean,
maybe you could run them off a cliff.
No.
Oh, now you're against the cliff idea.
Well,
last week you were all
they wouldn't
pro-cliff.
fall. No, they're the wrong kind of animal.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, luckily, the rats weren't native to the island, but there was something else that was also on the island that wasn't native, and that was there were a bunch of feral cats.
So the feral cats would eat the rats.
So the feral cats were there, also from ships, because the cats were put on the ships to eat the rats, and you had rats and cats that had gotten onto the island.
Oh, geez.
So he goes and he hunts out a pregnant cat.
Why pregnant?
Well, because he needs to domesticate cats.
Oh.
He can't domesticate feral cats, but if he can get kittens,
Oh.
he can domesticate the kittens.
Oh, this guy's smart.
Oh, he's very smart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Domesticating feral
And so
cat
he
kittens.
takes however many kittens and he brings them home and he raises them. He feeds them and he raises them.
Well, that's cute.
Yeah. And it's kind of twofold. One, they take care of his rat problem.
But it also is companionship.
And it's companionship.
Mm-hmm.
And they, like the seals, also multiply very quickly. And within no time at all, he's got a house full of domesticated cats. And they're like his family.
That's cute.
Yeah.
That's really cute.
And he actually does practice talking with them because he's realized he's losing his ability to speak.
Right. He needs to talk to them.
Yeah. So he would read a psalm out of the Bible every day.
Oh, they're
and he would
spiritual
talk to his
cats. Yeah.
They were like his spirit guide animals.
Yeah. What are those called in Spanish?
Oh, shoot.
It's like
What's
from
the word?
Coco. They're all like
what are
different
these?
colorful creatures.
Alebrijes, something like that.
Anyway.
Anyways, so he's got these cats. They're now eating the rats.
So he can sleep good.
He's
He can
chatting
be
with
snuggled
them.
at
He's got
nighttime.
I'm sure they're all over the place.
That's kind of gross.
Yeah.
They kind of stink when they pee and poo too.
They do smell, but they've got an island as a litter box.
Perfect.
Yeah. He teaches them tricks.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Because what else are you going to do all
I
day?
have no idea.
And
Build a garden and grow stuff.
Yeah, so pretty soon he builds a second hut, and that becomes his kitchen.
Yeah.
Because another thing that this island has are a bunch of wild goats.
That one is not what I thought you were going to say at all.
Yeah.
Wild goats. Is that native to the island?
I don't know where the goats come from.
Seems so interesting.
But all of a sudden, this kettle that he brought was like the greatest thing ever. Because he could boil meat. He could make soups. Because he's got this kettle.
Yeah.
So he builds a pen behind his kitchen.
Yeah.
And he captures small goats. And he keeps the small goats there. And he'll milk the goats. And he has the goats.
This is great.
And he'll hunt large goats.
And eat them for
and
meat.
eat those ones.
Yeah.
And then he's got the small ones in case he's ever like, for whatever reason, can't go hunt a big one or can't get a big one. Well, he's got the small ones in the backyard that he can kill.
He can
easily.
also feed a lot of the goat to the cats too.
Yeah. And he does like to
some
share.
of the skin and stuff.
And so, plus he grew up as what?
A tanner.
A tanner.
He
So
starts
he can
tanning.
make his own clothes. He can make his own. He makes himself like a nice
like a
little cute
loincloth?
sun hat. So it doesn't get burnt in the sun.
That's cool.
Yeah, he really does quite become like awesome. The island has a wide variety of vegetables. It's got parsnips, it's got radishes. It's got some kind of thing that he could use almost like a bread, but I don't know. I couldn't visualize what this was.
Like a jackfruit or?
I don't know what it was.
Oh, interesting.
It wasn't like a grain that he would grind up and, turn into.
So it's not as tropically as I think I was picturing originally. Like I'm thinking bananas and coconuts and maybe not quite that warm.
Sounds more temperate.
Yeah, it does sound more temperate just by the things you're saying. But anyway.
And maybe it's further south. I don't know where it exactly is on the Pacific Ocean.
So he's just like living his best life.
Yeah. So after a year and a half, he's pretty much just kicking butt.
Yeah, he is.
He's like Robinson Crusoe.
Yeah.
Or the Swiss Family Robinson.
Yeah, that was pretty good treehouse.
It was an amazing treehouse.
Yeah.
And so he's doing really good. And he's actually pretty dang happy. Again, because he's always got things he's working on.
Well, and he's got companionship.
He's got companionship.
Yeah.
Now, he is lonely.
Of
he
course.
really kind of wants to talk to some people.
I mean, of course.
But, and again, going back to that thing, like if you ever watched, remember, was it Alone? That TV show where these guys and gals get dropped off in the middle of British Columbia or Alaska.
There's all sorts of weird places, yeah.
And it's who can last the longest by themselves with winter coming. With like, they get to take like 20 items with them or something like that. And those who always win are always by far the most industrious.
Yeah.
They're building themselves. Oh, I built myself a sauna and I built myself a this. And they're just constantly having projects and things to do.
I think to keep themselves busy.
And I think that's a general, like if you struggle with not being happy in life, find more crap to do.
Yeah.
And not like worthless crap, but stuff that like pushes you, that you get an endorphin rush when you're successful with it.
Yeah.
Build something, write a book, host a podcast, do something. That's my advice for you today. And that's also Alex's advice for you.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
He told me to say that. So he's becoming adjusted to his new island life. But like I said, he's still...
I bet you another ship will stop by, though. It's not like the first time.
That's the thing. So every day, he still runs down and, checks the horizon and is looking for ships. At one point, so there's some pretty good mountains or big hills or on this island. And obviously that's where a lot of the goats live.
Right.
So at one point, he is up chasing this larger goat. And
does he like strangle it? Like, what does he do? Like jump on its back? And
I don't know, because he's got a gun, but he only has obviously very limited powder and bullets.
Yeah. It just is
he
interesting
just like
concept.
pushes him off the cliff and then walks back down.
That'd
and
be a
gets
long
him.
way to drag a, I'm just trying to think you'd mangle the whole thing if you did that too. That is interesting. Maybe he snares them.
Yeah.
Like snares their leg and then
If
kind
you
of
have the knife.
Well,
then you or
I would
an axe,
imagine
you could just-
snaring them with get them caught on the leg and then maybe like a halter, like walk them back to where you are once you get them
I would think
around their
a
horns.
wild goat would be so strong. Like if it doesn't want to walk with you,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
could just slit its throat.
I mean, I don't know
If you
because
can
but the
get
thing is,
close
he'd have
enough
to
to it.
drag it all the way back to his
That's
house.
true.
That's what I'm saying. Is it just seems. I mean, maybe he created some sort of like you put it on and you pull it.
Right.
There's probably a million things. It's just I really think about all these kind of details for
These
some
are fun
reason.
details to think about in a
This is
situation like this.
What my brain does. So anyway, probably TMI for everyone else, but I always think these things.
So at one point, he's chasing this goat up this hill, and he slips. And he falls off a cliff.
He falls off the cliff.
Falls off the cliff.
Ooh, that's like close to the edge.
Yeah.
Okay.
Luckily, the goat also falls off the cliff, and he lands on the goat. The goat breaks his fall. But he's pretty sure he's broken a fair amount of ribs. And he lays there for like 3 or 4 days before the pain subsides enough that he can get back to his hut.
That's terrible.
Yeah. And so he does survive, but he decides, you know what? If I died out here, someday someone's going to show up on this island and they're going to find my hut and they're going to find all my stuff and they're not going to know.
Oh, he needs to start keeping a journal.
And so he
Or
starts.
like a history.
Yeah. So what he does is he starts going and carving his name and the date he was marooned on the island on trees all over the island.
Oh.
So that way, if someone ever, he doesn't know if he's going to live here the rest of his life.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's doing that. And like I said, he still goes down every day.
Mm-hmm.
And he is checking for ships.
Right.
But he has to be careful because if it's a Spanish ship, he can't be found.
That's true. Because they're still at war, probably.
Yep. So if it's a Spanish ship, he's just going to be enslaved.
Actually, that's another thing to think about, though, is like that other story we had. What if the war was over? Sorry, my eye's bugging me.
And he's hiding from these guys who could actually rescue him.
Well, no, and they don't know it, right?
That is a legit possibility.
Yeah.
But he's not willing to take that risk.
Well, that's obviously, I just was thinking about that other story we did.
Yeah. And so he keeps, an eye out, but he can't be found by the Spanish because he knows what will happen to him.
Mm-hmm.
And he would much rather live forever on his island than
be
become
captured
a
for
slave
sure.
in a mine.
Well, any kind of capture.
Right. Well, then he knows pretty much everything that these Englishmen, whenever they are captured by the Spanish out here, they are sent to coal mines in South America, Central America.
Right.
And they are slaves and they die a cruel,
I would so
hard
much
death.
rather live on this island
Yeah.
by myself with cats. Yeah.
And so one day he sees a ship on the horizon. And so he carefully creeps down to the shore to see who it is. And his heart sinks when he realizes it's a Spanish flag.
Oh, dang.
And so he turns and he starts creeping back towards his hut.
Uh-oh.
When all of a sudden, boom, bullets come flying by his head. They've seen him. And so he takes off running deeper into the island. And they're shooting at him. They're chasing him. And he thinks like he doesn't want to run to his hut. And so he just climbs a tree. And he hides in this tree and just prays that they don't find him.
Which is so interesting because I feel like at this point he should know the island and different places that he could go that they would have no clue, and he should be able to hide somewhere.
You would think so.
Yeah.
And maybe this tree was a good spot like that.
Okay. Anyway.
So he stays there all day, all night. They don't find him, but he's terrified they're going to find his hut. Because he knows if they find his hut, they're going to burn it down.
Oh, for sure. Oh,
They'll take whatever they can out of it. They'll burn it.
You'd almost want to distract them to go that way.
Yeah.
Or an opposite direction. Yeah.
So he hides in this tree, and luckily they don't find his hut. They don't go deep enough into the forest.
That's
They
good.
don't find him, luckily, because they're kind of distracted by some goats they find. And they're like, well, this is a lot of food. So they kill the goats.
Right, because they're on a ship, and so they probably haven't had like fresh, yummy meat for a long time. Yeah.
And eventually they leave.
Well, good.
And so he's, close call, but he makes it, right?
That is a close call. That's scary.
So 1708, 4 years after he's got marooned on Masa Tierra.
So he's been on there for 4 years.
4 years. You know how many cats he's probably seen come and go?
Yeah. Has he seen any predators for the cats?
I don't know.
That's an interesting concept because, I mean, they kind of have a long lifespan, you know?
That's true.
Even though they procreate quick. And so, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. Oh, excuse me.
Anyway.
So he sees another ship on the horizon.
Okay.
Now, this time he's much more careful.
Yeah, obviously.
Because he doesn't want to get shot in the head.
I mean,
that defeats the purpose of building all the stuff.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So he crawls back down to the shore. He looks, and it is a British flag.
Ooh.
He's so excited.
I bet.
And they don't know he's there.
Of course
and
not.
They're not on the island. They're just parked off the island.
Right. They have to like take a little boat in or whatever.
So what do you do? To make sure they find you.
I would start a fire.
He starts a big fire.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. The only thing that I'd be worried about is like, what if it was a British ship that had been commandeered by Spanish? But you'll never.
I don't know how those things work. It seems really stupid to me to fly under your flag.
Yeah.
Like
but
all the flags.
But I think there was like these certain
like rules of war.
Yeah, rules of war. Like
that's true, because it also seems stupid to line up in a row in front of each other and just shoot at each other.
Yeah. Like there was these weird rules of war, and I feel like that was like super faux pas to maybe not do that. Like dishonorable.
Right.
I don't even know.
Anyways.
So, okay.
So he starts a big fire. Now, in retrospect, he doesn't know this. They see it at night, but they're not sure, oh, is there another ship? Is there bad guys on the island? You know, so they wait it out. In the morning, no other ships around. So they say, okay, go in and check out. And they send a crew in to the island to see what's going on. So they land, and he just goes flying. You know, he made himself this little white flag. And he goes running towards them. You know, he's just so excited. He can hardly talk, like literally, because he hasn't spoken in 4 years other than talking to some cats. But he can kind of explain to him what has happened, who he is, blah, blah, blah. He takes them back to his hut. He feeds them. And they're all like, this is super cool.
Yeah.
And
he probably wants to take all 3,700 cats that he's tamed with him.
Back to England.
Back to England.
So, here's a crazy twist in the story.
Oh.
So remember Captain William?
Yeah.
So we split Thomas. He stays with Thomas.
It's the other guy? Oh, never mind. Okay, sorry.
Captain William heads back to England.
Okay.
Word of how crappy he is of a captain gets back to England long before Captain William gets back to England. Mm-hmm. So by the time he gets there, he never could get work as a captain again. But he still gotta pay the bills, right? Mm-hmm. So he does become a pilot for a ship.
A pilot?
Mm-hmm. So like I think the guy that actually, like turns the big steering wheel.
Oh, that's called the pilot? I don't know.
I don't know either.
Okay.
On this ship, and it just so happens to be the ship that is parked off of Masa Tierra.
So it is Captain William.
It is Captain William. He's not the captain, but it is Captain William.
But it's the same guy.
The same guy.
Okay, because that's what I was saying. It was like, no way.
And he actually was the one that suggested they go to Masa Tierra. Now, he doesn't know that William or that Alex was marooned there.
Okay.
But he knows that Captain Thomas, that's where he was going to repair his ship. And so he knows there's this island out here.
And so
that has lumber and stuff and this is the same thing this ship needed, they just needed
some repairs,
refuel.
Okay.
Stock up.
It's obviously not inhabited.
No.
By like another tribe or whatever people.
And, like I said, so now Captain William isn't one who comes to shore. Mm-hmm. It's just,
right.
Peasants. The low men on the totem pole.
It's the crew. Yeah, I get it. Mm-hmm.
And so eventually they take him back onto the ship. Him and William see each other.
And they like run and hug each other.
William's so excited to see him. But Alex, his thought is, if William's captaining the ship, I don't want to be on this ship.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm going to stay on my island.
Oh my gosh, that guy's crazy.
Yeah.
Another 4 years goes by before you find another. Just get home. You'll be fine.
Well, he's afraid he's not going to get home.
It's really that bad? He's
guess
really
so.
that bad? Okay. Anyway.
But he's very excited to find out. Oh, William's not the captain.
Yeah.
He's just on this crew.
Gosh, this is hilarious.
And so the ship stays there for 10 days. Alex takes them on. He shows them how to hunt. They
That's
get
so
lots
cool.
of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
He takes all of his favorite things from
The cats.
I don't know how many of the cats get to go back with him.
Well, it's kind of sad because they're domesticated now. So now they don't. I mean, if he has to leave them, obviously. But like,
that's true. They're all going to die.
well, I mean, I think that a lot of them would figure it out. There's not a lot of natural predators and stuff, probably.
And they're probably, for the most part, even though they're domesticated, I'm guessing they're eating most of their food on their own.
Oh, yeah.
They're still out catching rats all the time.
Yeah, there's still a lot of food sources. So anyway.
But Captain William loves Alex.
Right. I remember that.
He tells the new captain, like, dude, this guy is amazing. Like,
and he's been alive on this island by himself for 4 years.
He's
He's
the best navigator ever.
Now.
And so the new captain, interestingly, finds Alex to be super calm, super patient, never gets mad, can handle any situation.
Mm-hmm.
He just takes it and can figure it out. Where when he left, he was kind of this spastic young guy,
Mm-hmm.
and living on his own on this island had really kind of mellowed him out.
Shocking.
Yeah. So the captain actually makes him second mate of the ship.
Oh, cool.
Which he now outranks Captain William.
Yeah, well, great.
Or just Will at this point. Just good old Bill.
Well, he still might prefer Will.
He might.
Yeah, never understood how Will got to turn to Bill. I've still never figured that out.
Me either. But I think I'm going to sneeze.
Oh, well.
But maybe not.
I'm going to drink some water.
Hold on. Just kidding. I did.
Well, if I sneeze, it's going to never end.
Yeah, when you sneeze, it's like 45.
I'll
And they've
say
been really bad lately.
They have been. Bless you.
Thank you. And so it takes them 4 years to get home.
What
Yeah.
in the world? Is that normal?
Well, they still... yes and no. They could have definitely sailed home directly faster, but they're still on
They're like
a
on
job.
an adventure. Oh, a
Like,
job.
Their job is not rescuing Alex and getting him home.
How do any of these people have families? Like, it's like, oh, I'm just going to go on a job. I'll be back in 4 years.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'll just keep the house going and would do all the things, and we'll see you when we see you.
I guess so.
I mean, I don't know. It
You
seems
wouldn't like that, huh?
Well, it's just a little bit crazy, but
So it takes them 4 years to get back.
okay. So
But
he's now 8 years since the time he had been on that island. So
Yeah.
he hasn't been on like a normal. Okay.
No. But they
Native
are
land.
extremely successful in their privateering on the way home.
Well, that's good.
And so in these 4 years, Alex makes a few $100,000
Oh, dang.
being second in command.
Yeah.
So he comes home with nothing, but he's very wealthy.
Yeah.
Or at
It's
least
great.
wealthier than the average person,
Sure.
And so he eventually gets married. He has kids. But he just can't stay on land for very long. So in 1717, he leaves again. He rejoins the Navy.
Why-
He joins the Navy.
Why can't he stay on land very long?
It's just his personality. Like
Yeah,
he's
he
just
just
got to
wants
get
to.
back to the open ocean,
Okay.
to the mother. So he joins the Navy this time, becoming an officer
Oh, that's cool.
fighting pirates. But he's like the top dog because of his past experience being a pirate and because he's such a good navigator.
Yeah.
He's like the head of the anti-piracy.
And all the skills. Head of the anti-piracy.
Yeah.
It's funny to me that the military was. I guess I don't know who else would take care of pirates, but it's a strange concept for me to think that the military was taking care of the pirates. Like,
You're right.
I don't know
There's
why
no
I
one
feel
else
like.
to do it,
Well, I kind of feel like it
but they
should
still
be like the
from
judicial
the military.
department. But I think back then, probably the judicial, like police and those kind of people were probably one and the same.
Yeah, but I mean, like you said, the Navy's the only one out there
Right.
who can patrol the ocean.
Who can patrol the ocean. So then
And when they're
when I
stealing
think
stuff
about it
from all
that
of your
way, it
merchant
goes
ships
back.
and stuff.
Uh-huh. Makes sense then.
But and so he lives his life out. He ends up dying a little while later.
Oh, really?
I think of
At
yellow.
sea?
Well, he dies of yellow fever in Africa. Like he's down in a port somewhere, gets sick and dies. But crazy successful story. Now, do you remember why he got marooned in the first place?
Yeah, because he didn't want to be on that guy's ship anymore and he thought that he was a better navigator and he wouldn't leave him.
Right.
Yeah.
And why were they at that island to begin with?
Because they had gone with the Williams guy together up some river to some Spanish mine.
Right. So after that, so they
and
went their
then they
separate
needed
ways.
repairs.
They needed repairs.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And that's what their whole argument was from the get-go. Alex's and Captain Thomas.
Right.
He said,
He's
"The
like,
ship
we need to stay longer
right.
and repair it better. And you think we need to go.
So what do you think happened to Captain Thomas and the ship?
Did they sink?
They sunk.
No way.
And guess who rescued the survivors?
Their ship.
The Spanish. And guess what happened to all those people that got rescued?
Got captured and tortured.
Yeah. So I think Alex in the end.
Yeah, he won out.
He won. Yeah.
He really did win out. Wow.
Played his cards right.
I mean, he sure did.
A 4-year tropical vacation, made a few $100,000 on the way home, and set up. And then abandoned his family and never came back. Well, obviously, yeah. But that's okay. That's not the cool part of the story.
But you said he got married, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's a pretty dang cool story.
I know. Isn't that neat?
Yeah.
So it was pretty...
I really like it.
There were a lot of times, other things that I read about, times where he was just so smart.
Mm-hmm.
Like he made himself some knives out of some pieces of metal that he found on the beach from another ship.
Like washed up from a shipwreck or something.
Was able to sharpen them and
that's
turn
really
them into
cool.
knives. Like just no matter what happened to him, he could always figure some way around it.
Yeah.
I
like that.
And he was funny. I wrote this, but I forgot to say it. Like he was a good navigator before, but he was like an excellent navigator because all he could read for 4 years was this navigation.
Well, and not
textbook.
only that is the stars in the sky, right? Like, I mean, he would have sat there for 4 full seasons of 4 full, constellation rotations and everything. So, I mean, there's nothing else to do but honestly navigate.
Had this book memorized.
Oh, inside and out, backwards and upside down. And I mean, what else do you do? Yeah.
So,
it's pretty impressive.
Very impressive.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
I like it.
Yeah.
So here's the question. Are the ruins of this man's hut still on this island?
I doubt it. They're all made of organic material.
I know.
A couple hundred years.
I know. But has anyone settled this island?
I don't know. That'd be interesting to look up. I didn't look to see what Masatier is today.
Yeah. That's interesting to think about. It's just interesting to have an island. Obviously, the rats and the cats came from other ships. But it's interesting to have
if the goats did.
Yeah. Well, that's another question I had. But there's no other, it sounds like predators really of any kind that could harm the cats or a human. I mean, he wasn't fearing for like his life in that regard.
You're right. Because any predator or any animal, period, that's going to be there, it has to be brought there.
Well, that's what I always wonder about islands, actually. Like some of them can swim. Some, birds could fly. But I really do wonder how some of these things and how like.
Well, then you think like the island of Komodo, but the only place in the world that has Komodo dragons. Why are they there?
Right. Well, and they can swim too. So
I don't know where the island of Komodo is in relation to other islands.
Right. So it must be far, but I mean,
iguanas definitely will swim from island to island.
Yeah.
I mean, with
and even I think of Australia. In Australia, they've kind of, they're kind of out there, but they've been able to keep certain species just on their continent, which is kind of amazing that they've never, ventured off somehow, some way, to other places.
Yeah.
And maybe they do have somewhere, like.
But right. But any kind of large predator on an island like that, you're right. It seems unlikely it would be there. Like, there's not going to be a leopard. Why would some ship have a leopard?
Yeah, exactly.
And even if there was one, enough to create a population.
Right. But at the same time, the goats are still, they must have come from a ship.
They must have come from a ship.
Which just seems. Anyway, if you have a living goat and it's that far in the ocean, it just seems strange that you'd have a goat that long.
Lots of goats.
You'd have to have at least 2.
And even with really small genetic populations, they don't work
So
very
great.
long.
Yeah.
If you like drop 2 goats off on an island,
Yeah.
you know, you have a lot of interbreeding, which doesn't work well.
That's so interesting. The world is such an interesting
But
place.
it worked well enough for Alex.
Sounds perfect. I literally want to try it. Like, not alone, but with you.
Yeah.
So,
alrighty.
All right.
That's it.
Okay. Sounds
All right.
good.
Bye.
Bye.